last time on Island ADV.
We got a medium-sized day, 5-hour ride. The goal today, get into Murdochville, tank up again, move back onto the Trans Quebec Trail and head towards Saint-Anne-de-Mont, I think.
Oh, moose, right side. The scenes out here to the left are just beautiful. Look at the mountains out there, just amazing. Ew. Ah, very cool. In the shadow of the mountain, man, it's crazy.
You've heard me say this many times, but I love the blacktop portions of these adventures just as much as the gravel and the dual track, because they always offer another scene, another point of view for these adventures. And this little northern coastal route here on the northern end of the Gaspe Peninsula definitely delivered too. We're picking up our latter part of day 4 here just outside of Mont Saint-Pierre, and we're riding along this coastal ledge that has these beautiful rock faces and puts us right in the shadows of some of these mountains that we've been riding for and in between all of this trip long. The goal for today and day 4 is to get to Saint-Anne-de-Mont, but also to get to Parc National Gaspésie for our campground for that night. And we've been looking forward to that for a while.
I guess you can camp at that lighthouse up there. It's like a very low-key, like Airbnb style, like 1 or like 5 or 6 campsites or something. Pretty sure that's it. It might be a different one, but I remember James was on, he camped on one of them. It was pretty wild. Well, fellow island riders, are on our way to Saint-Anne-de-Mont and Cap Chat as we enter into the second half of our ride day for today, day 4 on the Trans Quebec Trail. And I was really hoping to see some cool coastal blacktop, and my goodness, this is delivering, man. I mean, just incredible to just be in the shadow of the mountain like that, and everything cools right down. You see the water and the waves crashing against the rocks just to the right of us. So extreme. I love it. I love it. Lots of work on the highway to be done up here too, but that goes without saying. When you live this close to the water, the storm surge here is probably unreal. But I'll keep you along for the ride as we cruise along this little coastline here, because it's definitely an awesome one. Oh, they say there's a restaurant in the next town if you're interested in getting something more substantial to eat. Alright, let's keep our eyes open for some food, maybe. That looks like food to the right side.
A long time ago, I used to live in Quebec City, and I only lived there for about a year, but that was long enough to realize that I loved Quebec chicken. Like, loved it. Like, unreal amount of love. And Quebec, for me, was all about Foozy chicken, and here, me seeing a roadside chicken place, I just could not resist a beautiful meal like this. But a heavy meal like that definitely requires a little bit of a workout. So after a while, we found this really nice trail just alongside of some of those coastal routes and took advantage of a little bit of a dual track break from the blacktop.
Well, folks, I think there's some similarities to Prince Edward Island here. Sometimes on PEI, if you're not paying attention, watch that rock right side, it'll catch your foot peg. Sometimes, if you're not paying attention to Google Maps and where Google wants to take you in PEI, you'll end up stuck in the middle of the mud. And, you know, Google tried to tell me that this was the way to get to Parc National Gaspésie, and it was totally not. Well, I mean, you know what? If I had, like, Hugo with me, if I had some and me and Brandon had maybe some lighter enduro bikes, we'd definitely take a crack at it. But oh man, you wouldn't believe what we saw at the end of this thing. Just a straight uphill into the mountain. Who knows how we'd get back down off it. So anyway, we're backtracking. We are headed to camp though. We are headed to Lac-Cascapédia, where we want to have, hopefully, a nice campground experience. But I figured I'd bring you along for this little impromptu trail experience too, because it's fun. It's a nice fun find. Well, we made it into Gaspésie National Park, or Parc National de la Gaspésie, and yeah, there are those beautiful mountains again. There's that flat top one we saw earlier this morning. Really, really cool. We were already here. Like, the route that we came in off the Trans Quebec Trail brought us in through here, but this is the route that we're going to take to get to our camp. We just came back in from Saint-Anne-de-Mont, so ideally it's just off to the right, a ways down here, and then we can get in. So we've already paid for everything online. We shouldn't have to go to a check-in. We should just be able to ride right to our site and set it up, but we do want to see if we can get some firewood. I have a suspicion that the amenities at this campground are not going to be a lot, but whatever. It's whatever. It might have some showers. That would be a really pleasant surprise if they did. That'd be great. I'd love to get a refresh tonight, but if not, I'll sort it out. I always do. We always do. Overall, though, I gotta say, today's ride has been just excellent amount of everything. Like I was talking about it before, we had a little bit of ADV riding, but we also tackled a little bit of dual sport, like that little trail offshoot that we had come back to just right now. It was so good. Like, I mean, yeah, it was a misdirection, and it was you know, Google trying to send us into the woods a little bit too much, and I feel bad for anybody in their Honda Civics who are trying to go and tackle that, thinking that they're going to get to the park. But man, it was still a fun little rip. It brought back some New Brunswick vibes. But anyway, our turn off here to Lac-Cascapédia, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, by the way, is just straight ahead. So let's see about getting into camp. Oh, cool. Rivière Sainte-Anne. Very cool. Man, it would be so great to fish this, eh? Wow, we go quite a ways up, eh? We'll probably be back up around 600 some meter elevation, I guess, probably. Truck coming down your way. Okay. That means reception. There's the firewood.
Guess that answers that question.
So we just came in, and then we're gonna go immediate left, another immediate left, another left. Oh, but oh, some of these are one way.
Yeah, so we're 27 and we're here, right?
Yeah.
So right. Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go this way.
Is it that way?
This way?
Is it?
First left, 65. Oh wait, look at this. 65 to 72, 1 to 42, straight ahead.
Huh?
26, 27 right here. Ah, this is perfect. Oh, and there's that grill.
Nice.
This is like really cool. I love how cozy it is. Nice. Yet again, not really a hammock spot, but you know what? I think we got some good spots for a tent. Hey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Where are you from?
Ottawa.
Ottawa?
Not on this. I brought this down on my truck.
Oh, nice. We're from Prince Edward Island.
Okay.
Eric.
Nice to meet you. Hey,
This
Matthew.
is Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Matthew. And you came from PEI on that.
Hell yeah.
I see lots of people who were just in Percé and
Oh, wow, yeah.
for a week, and we just arrived here 10 minutes ago. So I was just going to go in because one of the guys offered to tell me where to ride.
Oh, okay.
So you've already been exploring for a few days?
Well, have you seen any of the Trans Quebec Trail?
I have that app on my phone, but doesn't it go around the coast?
It's kind of crazy because it goes in, like, so today we spent, I think, we must have been on it for like almost 3 hours today, right? And it was all up in the mountains, dual track, regular road, regular dirt road. And sometimes today was probably the hairiest stuff, like not bad by any means, but it was probably, today's stuff was probably the most dual sporty, you know? So I just met a nice gentleman there who had brought his CRF with him, strapped it to his truck there, and he's just having a good time. And now we got all the wood here strapped up. Fox has decided to take some of the load instead of just letting the old Woods DR take it all. So welcome to our second campground out of 3, and we got everything pretty much in place. We're into what I call the rhythm right now. So usually when we go out into the field for work 2.0 or going into, you know, an adventure like this, being on the road for many days, it usually takes us about 3 days to get into a rhythm. Or so, like, we're usually in the rhythm by like the end of the adventure usually, but like last season's trip was 5 days, so we were in the rhythm by Oceanfront, I think. But we usually end up doing particular things in a particular order, depending on what we do. So I'll run you through a little bit of the details. So first objective is usually shelter. You can see me and Brandon both have the same tent. This is surely because they are small, they pack up quick, and they're cheap. They're like $50 a Canadian Tire. I mean, there's better tents for sure out there, but why bother, right, if it's going to do the job, which it does very well, actually. I've been using it exclusively. The next thing we do is we set up rain shelter. I bring the wood tarp this year. I usually have a secondary smaller tarp, but I brought the wood tarp this year just because I wanted more space, because I knew this was going to be a soggy trip. Shocker, it's been an incredibly soggy trip. So we usually set this up, and then we have a place to stash kit under immediately. So like in the morning, if we wake up and it's raining, the first thing that we'll do is we'll start throwing kit under there, and that's where we'll make our coffee and such. We'll probably move this whole thing like right underneath of it. After that, we usually get our kit just kind of like sorted out. So this is the cooked meat kit. I've only taken out what I need. This is the closed kit. I've only taken out what I need, and I just pack it up. And this is just the ready access kit. So there's my coffee in the morning and just some other tools and things for the bike. All the camera stuff goes into the tent over there. Brandon's got a similar setup. He's got the dirt racks that he's using here for his Nelson rig dry bags. Working really good. You can see he's zip tied some down just to take some of the, you know, the headache out of it. So that's not too bad. And then he has the same kind of top case. It has all the quick access stuff. Once we get that all done and we've gotten showered and refreshed, we get over and we start working on the fire. So you can see Brandon's already put together our little kindling temple there. And we've got the other firewood prepped and ready to go with a little bit of accelerant. Crazy old birch bark. And we get our little meal prep going. So tonight I'm going to try making chicken wings. I got these from the grocery store frozen. They're nice and thawed right now, but they're still cool, so they're not bad. And I got some other snacks here, and we got some beers as well. And that's pretty much it. After that, we just enjoy the evening, talk about the day's ride, you know, talk about all sorts of other things. We'll probably shut her down around, you know, 2100 and go to ground, and that'll be great. I think we got a beautiful campsite here. It's a really nice little spot tucked in. So I really hope this series is coming out good for you guys. It's going to be a struggle for me to edit this for sure. I've got some ideas in my head on how I want to approach it, so I hope it's coming out good. It's coming out regardless. I'm not just going to go on this trip and not like document it. That's half that's about a quarter or a third of the fun for me, you know, is doing all this videoing and taking some of this home, because later on in the days and the years that come after this, I like to look back and see this stuff. And I love watching the old trip series, you know, usually every winter when it comes out. You know, I know that like we want to have like all the angles from all the different, from me and Brandon both, but you know, just the weather and the challenges from this trip have made it really difficult to do it. But when I think about that, I think about how difficult it has been. I think about a little bit why I'm out here in the first place. And we come back to like the story, right? The castaway maiden. Marguerite de la Roche. Marguerite in the Isle of Demons. And I think about, you know, what she went through, and I try to put myself in her shoes as much as I can, you know, and I think in that mindset. And there was a time where like, I'm sure that person was marooned on that island, on Harrington Island, with all of the adversity that was surrounding her. And there was definitely a point where she could have just given up, like, and joined the rest of the people that were, you know, given the similar fate. But, you know, there's something to perseverance, because, you know, I find that a lot of times you think about things, and if you worry that if you keep persevering, you're just going to wear yourself out against some sort of immovable object. In some cases, you have to have the good judgment to say that enough is enough. But in other cases, I think it's important, or I've learned that it's important over time, that you got to just keep trying. Like the last camp that we had, the last wild camp, it was getting really, really rough to find a spot, but we kept trying. You know, we persevered and we found an amazing site. So I feel like this is kind of an homage to that a little bit, more of a reaffirmation that perseverance through that kind of situation, you know, a terribly impossible situation, can, you know, amount to something that's still really, really cool. You know, we saw so many beautiful scenes along the coast today. We saw so many really cool mountain vistas that I've never seen before in my life. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And it was just fills me with joy knowing that, like, you cross over one of these trails and then you see it and you know, yeah, you did the right thing. Keep going. So we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. I got to try cooking this stuff. I'll let you know how I make out. We'll get a fire started once Brandon comes back from the shower. And we're both feeling refreshed.
Just take longer to cook, that's all.
Progress report. This is going way better than I thought it would. It's actually, they look like they're getting cooked. We almost lost one, but we're doing pretty good. We just ate a few of the cooked ones and they taste amazing. So I'm gonna say this is a success, even before they're all done. Oh, it's perfect. We got a really good coal bed going, I think. Look at that. Look how red it is. It's just right. That's a big tip from Maritime or ATV right there.
That was close. Right.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. That
Really
worked out so well. Very good.
I will admit, I had my doubts when you just pulled out a bag of chicken wings.
It's a gamble. I just bought like the frozen chicken wings from like the Metro and just threw them in the saddlebags, knowing that they'd thaw by the time we got here. Sure enough. Well, we're gonna eat the rest of these bad boys. And it's getting quite dark. It's raining off and on, so I think what I'll do is I'll pack her in for the night for you folks, and you know, in the morning when I wake up, it's time to make coffees and figure out the day. I'll bring you guys back in and we'll see what we can do about getting down to Amqui and getting a little bit more of this Trans Quebec Trail under our belts. Anyway, see you in the morning.